Good afternoon. Thank you all for your attendance. All the people here are seeing us on streaming. And thank you, CyberCamp, for counting on me. This is me. I've been introduced, so it won't take me long. I'm still a student, so many people back there, I get you. There's a QR code explaining who I am. If you can scan it, good for you. And if not, it's not a big loss. So what I'm here to discuss would be industrial environment, ransomware as a concept, real cases affecting industrial environments, how the ransomware impacts set the environments, attack development. So we would step in the boots of these criminals, offenders, bad people who are here to hurt us. And, well, a few conclusions that we will take. So I'd like to explain what an industrial network is like. We have a corporate network. We all know it. We have well-known protocols. We have network printers, hard drives, etc. This is surveillance or supervision. We now move into the industrial sector. And then a control network connected to a field network, which is fully industrial, and different protocols are there. These are the industrial control systems. The corporate network would have an impact on the supervision network, and this is how it is segmented. Protocols within these would be DNP3 was a well-known hard and proprietary protocols such as S7. Another concept I would like to mention is industrial control systems on critical infrastructures. These systems would be a set of devices distributed at different levels, field control and supervision levels, as we've said before, connected within the same network, and that can help us manage physical processes real time. And then a critical infrastructure, a strategic element that it's a paramount and gives no way to alternative solutions, meaning that I have a water treatment plant servicing Madrid, and then I have another one servicing a village. It is not the same, it's not comparable. If I lose the plant that is servicing Madrid compared to another one servicing a village, it would be much more critical. The one in Madrid. Same way, the Infrastructure Protection Institute has a catalog, a list, where they comment each company that they might be owners of a critical infrastructure. Past these two concepts, we move on to critical infrastructures, right? What are the strategic sectors here? We've got energy, water, food, health, transportation, chemical industry, etc. So, no need for me to read it, right? You can read it yourselves. And what about ransomware? What's ransomware? It is malware whose purpose is to limit access to parts of the systems that we have available on our computers. It usually comes with a ransom that is requested by the offenders. It's all about money. And based on the system that is affected, they ask for more or less money, usually in bitcoins. So, kinds of ransomware. Locker ransomware, that it's a device locking. And then, as of late, there are others that affect the master boot record. Differences between information technology and operation technology. How does ransomware affect both kind of environments? For information technologies, there is a permanent data encryption, both corporate and personal. So I guess you all have some device that you take to work. So that's the bring your own device idea. So this network device encryption, printers and corporate systems, dissemination of information in restoring attempts. Now we refer to content that is deciphered. That content is revealed or released or some other kind of malfeasance or attack. If a ransomware affects the supervision network mainly, there is a malfunctioning of the devices, which in turn causes problems for the plant employees. The idle times are critical. And in industry, what matters is availability. That's what matters the most. So having to stop it, it is very important because it creates lots of money loss. And also spread of information, dissemination of information, significant information. I have this part, and I'm setting myself apart because I have this part, which I fine-tune to such an extent that I'm the only one producing it. If the information says the light, I will lose my business bulk. So it is quite delicate. Real cases for ransomware. This one, Alan Bradley simulating a firmware that the producer had, the operator gets it. It's not updated. Do you want to update your device? It goes into the website to download it, and it came with a little present with ransomware. This is a search on Sodan, which is a engine that you might know. These are online devices. There are a few more, right? I'll explain that later on. But for a small search of this very manufacturer, Spain ranks third. This is very important for what we said before. Idle times for production are paramount. Then, this is quite clear. It was October 2015. And this is Sabella. That's a company specialized in sea streams. This is a turbine deep in the sea. It's difficult to put it in and to take it out as well. And the attackers took control over the supervision computer. No need to go into the field network. No need to go all the way in. Just by using ransomware on the supervision layer, it causes lots of problems. It was found that they were using CryptoLocker, and it took them 2 weeks to restart the turbine. And the attackers, as it's been said before, asked for $4,000. So 3,700 euros, not much really. It took them 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of idle time for the turbine is too much. This another example, February 26, 2006. The Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center in Hollywood had another infection. This is a Lucky family infection. The ransom was paid, 9,000 bitcoins, 3 million euros. The infection came from some macros they had been enabled by employees. And, well, since they were on, it went in and caused disturbances to patients that had to be moved elsewhere. So it is quite difficult. February 2016, German hospitals, 3 or so. There was a blackout of service, and they didn't pay because Germans were intelligent and used their backups to reset systems. Same way, when you have ransomware, you have some time to activate and fight it back. And it takes you some time. And it ruins you. And this is the last one. Last Saturday, It was San Francisco underground system. Over 2,000 computers were compromised as part of San Francisco transportation system. I don't know if you've read about it, but 100 bitcoins were asked as ransom. That is $73,000 and more than 65,000 euros. It was not paid, and it took them 2 days or so to get it all back in working. And you see, 3 days for transportation because the boxes for the tickets were not working properly. And they decided that people should use the service even if free of charge. And that was the message by the ransomware friend, saying that data had been encrypted and that they should contact him. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of, walk in the shoes of an attacker, of the crook. Land recognition, attack development, attack vectors, spreading of the attack, and then exploit. Those are the highlights I wanted to bring here. And the last one is about getting money. So these are the stages. Attack development. What do we need first? Who are we going to attack? We attack our target, and we find information on the company. We use ARIN, ABNIC, depending on where our target is located. We keep searching. Flowchart as well. It's not the same attacking a CEO or an employee. Privileges are not the same, both on the network or hierarchy within the company. And services scanning. This is Nmap. We use the tool we choose. So same as the bad guys, you can use your own scripts. On Nmap, not good. It can be, it can manage to stop an infrastructure. It's not good. RP table queries, find out the devices is, not good. Devices and software to use. What models? What devices? The ones that our target use, for which we can use Sodan or Sumline, which is the Chinese version, is quite good. Fences is another engine that you might be more familiar with, where you can also search for devices available on the internet, communications available, so we can see protocols they're using and programs as well, software they're using. If we're gonna inject our JavaScript and obfuscate it on a PDF, we can check out the PDF reader they use, Adobe Reader, whatever. And maybe they use an Office suite or Excel or Word or macros, as we said before. Companies they work with. No need to attack our target. Maybe a third party should be attacked, and they would inject our worm, our malware. We can use that knowledge on the internet and see what companies are working with our target and infect these companies instead. And once they move into maintenance or support and go into networks that are not accessible from the internet, they can plug a USB or take their own computer for maintenance or VPN connection. It's all about elaborating on it. And this is the attack production. Will it be a ransomware, a crypto ransomware, just some data? Do we lock the devices and take it all down? Depending on what we want. So complexity can be higher or lower. Attack vectors. So social engineering. Nowadays, almost every attack we have social engineering. There are only a few without it. We use social engineering together with mobile devices that we can infect and enter into our target phishing, whether it is redirecting the target to our servers or using macros and JavaScript on a PDF, or use this infected USB. I think it was early in the morning that Stuxnet was explained, and it used USB and QR codes. I wanted to mention it because there are many producers nowadays that are using these QR codes in their devices, and it is difficult because it's very elaborate to have a QR code change. But if I'm not mistaken, there was a clear example from a company that was a ketchup manufacturer using QR codes on the bottle, and there was one redirecting to hotter websites. How to infect a victim, spreading next. So imagine we are the crooked one up on the cloud, and we infect the network. First, see if there's a backdoor. So there's lots of segmentation here. Often, companies are not so nicely segmented, right? They are usually not. So we would have access to the corporate network, which would have printers and files that are all up in the network and other devices that are to be found on there. And so if there is ransomware and we don't have the right measures, there is infection. What then? We will try to propagate, to spread, to pivot, to circumvent. We will skip the supervision and go up to the operator. That's what's interesting. They would lose their communication, and same as with Sabella's real case. There's no communication with the operator station, with the workstation, and the operator cannot communicate anymore with the turbine. Unstable network as a consequence. Exploits. What then when the ransomware is exploited? What happens to companies? So there is a loss of their brand perception. So they've been attacked by ransomware. Production idle times, and in industry, availability is the most important thing. If a production is to be stopped, bad news. Environmental problems, personal damages, maybe a pipe blows up, maybe a tank blows up, or else something even worse. Environmental problems and also injuries. And monetary loss. Lots of money can be lost. I wanted to run a demo here. See? This is a Raspberry Pi screen, and this is it. HMI. Local one. When there's next, there's another one. Cell phone, mouse, and you have it. It is magic. Here comes the demo. Let's hope so. Well, it's not moving. Doesn't matter. Well, there it is. It's taking its sweet time. Good. It's up there. Good. Not good. Not a good idea. I can play it like this. You can see it, right? There's a local HMI of the whole process here. This is a refinery plant. It has its own tank. And down there you see the fluid coming from the refinery. And next to it there is a balancer. And then an output valve. Several valves. At first it's all very nice, it looks great, and we will try to go into this plant, right? Let's hope it changes and we will see the process, how we can go in. And we'll use QR as a vector, the one I mentioned. It is quite complex, but it could happen. It is complex, the same as with USB, but it can go in. So this is the infected QR code. We've put it into the local HMI shell, where pressure could be read, and I mean the pipe pressure. We start the ruggedized item. will scan the code, which will redirect us to a server that is infected with a PDF carrying a surprise package. You cannot really see it, but well, it's there. Good. So we've worked on it for the operator to see that everything is perfect. Otherwise, they will crash me. They download it, and the operator says, I will not read it on my PDA. Why? I should read it on my computer for sure. So, up to the computer to read the PDF. This is the operator, wise person. So, as their wish for it, they open it. And infected it is. There is JavaScript inside the PDF that it is run, executed as the operator opens it. It'll be infected, and you would say, why is not real ransomware? But it was my home network, so same example, but turning off the JavaScript, disabling JavaScript. So we open it up, and there's magic. Nothing happens. One of the conclusions we can come to is disable JavaScript. I guess many of us used to have it on, me included, and we need to be careful. I've used the PDF stream dumper. This is for JavaScript malware analysis, PDF analysis specifically. These are true bugs. And this is the code that can be inside the infected PC. As you can see, this local HMI was checking reading pressures. It's gone black, gone crazy. And you might not be able to see it, but I tried to enhance it later on. This is the global process and how it goes idle. And it moves all the material. And we see the valves are off. And so the system goes crazy, so to say. It is unstable now, and we see it opening and closing over and over again. See operators go into panic. The dam is not working. What should I do? So, malware again. We need to let them know to send a warning and de-infect it. So, valve opens, but closes down, opens up, closes down, so the system is fully unstable. As you've seen, that was most of it. Some conclusions now. Message volume based on tech type. We see malware attached and malicious URLs, especially JavaScript. The JavaScript is the most used one, right? And Excel and Word macros are used now, but PDFs are so very interesting because by default, such as Faucet or Adobe Reader, have the JavaScript on, and we need to turn it off. Other conclusions and best practices. We need to raise awareness amongst our employees. Yes, sensibilization, it is important. Then proper segmentation. It's no point in having the best firewall or IPS in the market if it's not properly set up. The macro activation. Using anti-ransomware tools. You have it from different companies working on it. They have different solutions, and you can choose whatever you want. But you need to keep an eye on it. Disabling JavaScript, as you've seen, is quite important. Then Java standards, compromise lists, backups, mainly backups. It'll take us time to reset it, to restore it, but we would manage it. These are two documents. The first one on ransomware and best practices, in case you're interested in more info. The other one is from the CERT, the Cryptography Center, discussing ransomware security measures. Quite interesting as well. And industry, well, not everything is available in industry. Tools I've used. Unfortunately, I could not develop anything, and I've used projects from people who, well, I really appreciate that they did it on GitHub. This is the process HMI, the global, the local HMI. This is the one for the PDF dumper, and then ransomware analysis. If you are into malware analysis, here you see a series of URLs that are quite interesting. You might be familiar with them. And well, so once you've been infected with ransomware, once it's been uploaded, what kind of ransomware is it? We need to know what family it is. There are so many families now on ransomware. Unless you check out the extension or a specific thing, you will not find out. And this is the IoT, you know. So now we have ransomware and we'll all go crazy. Even the vacuum cleaner, we can get ransomware, it seems. This is a real case. This is a smart thermostat. And this one person had the brightest idea in the world and said, what about ransomware for a smart thermostat? Well, yes, let's try it. Ask for 1 Bitcoin in exchange for control, and otherwise it would turn up the temperature, as plain as that. And I rushed through it. I have plenty of time left, so thank you very much to all of you.
Bueno, si tenéis alguna pregunta.
If there are questions.
O no.
If there are not any, if there's no question, no problem. We'll go break for dinner. I hope you liked it. I have kept you entertained. So, good evening. Thank you very much. You've mentioned this program, PDF something dumper. I'm sorry, I could not take note. We've got 20 minutes left. Don't you worry. No problem. Yes, I'll try to upload the presentation wherever so that you have the references. I got URLs under the real cases so that you can look into it further. I've not elaborated on it. I did not elaborate on it because I wanted it to be light, maybe too light. I excelled at it. But I wanted people to have fun. I wanted people to understand the concept. I wanted people to see how important it is to defend systems. Corporate networks are important but industrial control systems and critical infrastructure systems are very, very important because of the problems they might entail. Give me a minute. Good. There it goes. There you have it. That's it. I leave it on. It might be the most interesting slide that I brought. Thank you very much. Not at all, thank you.
Buenas, lo primero quería darte las gracias.
Good evening. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for enduring it. I wanted to know, do you know about Saudi Aramco's case back in 2012? Affecting its whole infrastructure. It is a petrol company. And they had to go back to cable. Why did they do so? And I said it should not be done because it might be too much and you need to take some measures. Those were servers. And I don't know if they affected the control area or not. I don't really know. But since they are servers are not communicated with control area, maybe they had no interaction with industrial side and so they could use cable. But often you need to take some measures, and that's all you have, because losses would be greater than if you didn't use cable. But within industrial network, you could not go back to cable, to wire. At a corporate level, as we are used to, you could go back to cable, unless it's way too critical to you and your business. And based on the latest attacks with ransomware, what measures are being taken by companies apart from physical backups? Yes, backups mainly. We all know that attackers are always a step ahead of us. They've got plenty of time to plan it, and they are very elaborate attacks that you do not expect. So trying to defend yourself, it turns out to be much more complex. But you can use a firewall, you can use JARA standards, rules, you can see compromise indicators, other ransomware programs, update your database, check out servers that are infected, cut them out, cut out all communication. So your bulk is in Spain, but your company is only Spanish and you've got communications with other countries. It's not normal. You should only have communications in Spain, throughout Spain. That would be it. You need to go in deeper than the attacker. But it is true, attacks such as Stuxnet, you don't expect them. There will be an operator with a USB having 0 days, and they get you in a big mess. This is unexpected. But try to set up as many measures as possible and awareness about phishing for your employees who might not be aware. And people who are aware, and yet they need to be careful. We could all fall to this kind of tricks. Thank you very much.
Bueno, vi que lo gestioné un poco mal. Hay muchas preguntas.
Hola.
Hola,
¿Qué
buenas.
tal? Buenas noches. Mira, yo te quería...
Hello, I'd like to ask you about all these cases. Do you have information about cases that were not reported by the company? I understand that companies do not really want to disclose it. Yes, I know what you mean. There is regulation and the way, and it is a European regulation for sharing incidents. The regulation would make it kind of mandatory for companies to share incidents. It is true to say that each companies have followed their own methodology when it comes to communicating incidents, reporting that to their national certs. This is a bit tricky. Sharing my incident, yes or no? If you share your incident, as we said before, you can expect this type of attacks. That is to say, like a very crafty attack that you can learn from. So it is very important that companies share that, so that those companies that have not been attacked learned from those that have been attacked. And as I say, well, this is very company specific, okay? It depends on each company. Thank you very much.